What's up, guys? Welcome to Visualization. This is Nestor Adriansen, and today we're gonna learn about date tables in Power BI. Hey, if you are new to this channel, please let's make sure that you hit that subscribe button because you don't wanna miss anything. All right, let's get started. Today we're gonna go through 7 different points, okay? We're gonna go from what is a date table to create a relationship in Power BI. What is a date table? A date table is a table that contains one column of datetime type with unique values. So what is a datetime type? A datetime type or format contains both date and time parts together in just one cell. A date table is also called calendar table. Let's keep that in mind, please. A data model typically contains a date table to work more efficiently, okay? A date table is designed to slice dates. All right, let's go to the next slide. What are the key characteristics of a date table? So we have right here the most relevant. First one, it should contain all dates included in the period to analyze. That makes sense, right? Because we don't want to have missing dates. The second one, it should contain one column of datetime type. The third characteristic, each day should be represented by a single row. We don't want to have duplicated information here. The next one, there should be no gaps in the data. It should be contiguous, okay? The next point, it should be marked as a date table. This is really important. We're gonna explain a little bit more about this part as well later in this tutorial, okay? Using a date table with only the relevant years is best practice. So what does it mean? So if we have dates that go from 2010 to 2015, so we want to have a date table that only contains those years because we don't want to have unnecessary information, right? So this is something that we should keep in mind as well, okay? It's recommended to have a rich set of additional columns. We can include year, year number, month, month number, etc. So we will go through this part as well. All right, next slide. What are the uses of a date table? So we have right here 4. Give the data model the flexibility to perform time intelligence calculations by using specific DAX functions. So we know that DAX functions, specifically for time intelligence calculations, work better by using a date table. So this is really important, guys, okay? The next one, slice data by using one of its columns. As I said before, we can use a date table to slice data. This is also very, very helpful, okay? The next one, create relationships between a date table and other tables in the data model. Really important as well. And finally, filter and group data across multiple tables. So here we have 4 uses of a date table. Next slide, types of date tables. So we have 2 different types of date tables. We have automatic date tables and we also have calculated date tables. As we can see right here, Power BI automatically creates a date table for each date or date time column in the model. So this makes it possible to slice each date by year, quarter, month, and day. As you guys can see on the right side of your screen, the time intelligence option is activated auto date time. If that's activated, so Power BI is creating these date tables. And the other one is about calculated date tables. And we're going to spend more time here. So let's go to the next slide. How to create a calculated date table. We have right here 2 different ways. Of course, we have to use a DAX function, right? And we have 2 different functions. We can use calendar or we can also use calendar auto. So let's go through the first DAX function, calendar. And of course, we want to use Power BI desktop. Let's go over these definitions real quick. So by using the DAX function calendar, and these are basically 2 examples. And this is the syntax. If you guys can see right here, the first part, dates, this is the name of the table, equal, here's the DAX function, calendar, open parentheses, and we need to have a start date, and also we need to have an end date. In this second example, the syntax is very similar. Dates, this is the name of the table. The DAX function, calendar, open parentheses, and we have right here first date, and also we have last date. Remember that we need to have a beginning and we need to have an end. And we are using here as a reference a table and a column. All right, so here we have our Power BI desktop window. So what we want to do is basically, let's get some information here. Let's use Excel, connect, real quick, claims data. We're going to use this information. I'm going to share with you guys this file as well so you can have it open. And right here, we're going to use this table, load. Let's see the fields. There we have it. We have the claims table right there. If we want to double check here, we can go to the data part. There it is. This is the claim table that we just imported. All right. So now let's do something really cool here. Let's create a couple of measures right here. New measure. Remember that we need to have the boundaries, right? So how about if we put minimum right here, the minimum. So we want to know the minimum date that is in the claims table for the claim date column. Okay, so we have claim date right here, close parentheses, and then we validate this right there. Boom. And if we want to see the results, we can drag this into this area, and then let's select right here, card. Boom. This is the minimum date that we have in the claims table. That is part of the claim data column, right? All right, let's create another measure real quick. This is not part of the tutorial, of course, but we have to do it for this example, okay? Maximum right here, max, tab, and then right here. So basically, claim table, and then select this column right here, close parentheses, and then let's check this right here. Boom. So now we have maximum. Let's do the same and then select card. Boom. So we have the maximum date for this claim date column is April 28th, 2018. Let's have this information as a reference. All right, so now let's create a calendar table real quick. We go to modeling, new table, and right here we're gonna type dates. And then let's keep playing, okay? We're gonna use calendar, and then right here, we're gonna select date, and then right here, year. So we're gonna use as a reference these two boundaries, okay? So in this case, we have 2010, right, comma, and then month, of course, that's January, and then day, second. All right there, comma, and then the end boundary, and in this case, I'm gonna use date as well, and then year 2018, comma, month, April, date, 28, close parentheses, and let's see what happens. Let's approve this. Boom. If you guys can see right here, we created our calendar table right here. And we have right here a date column. Let's see what's happening here. Let's select date. It's right there. The minimum date is January 2nd. And then we want to see the maximum date right there. We have April 28th. So it's working, right? That's what we have right here, right? Now let's keep playing with this tool. We're going to use a different way to calculate a calendar table or a date table. So in this case, what we're going to do is basically, we're going to modify this one right here. If you want to go to the next line, Alt, Enter. And let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have right there. Let's reorganize this a little bit. Let's move this right here. Boom, that looks better. Let's delete this part. And in this case, we are going to use the first date function. And then right here, we're going to call the claims table and the claim date column, right? And then right here, that's our first date, close parentheses, comma, and then Alt, Enter, and we go to the next line. And then right here, we're going to use the last date function. open parentheses, and in this case, we're going to use the claim date column from the claim table. Select that part, close parentheses, and then I'll enter, and then right here, close parentheses, and let's see what happens. Let's approve this. Boom. Let's go to the date right here, and then let's see what's happening. So the minimum date, January 2nd, right? Let's see the maximum date, April 28th. See, that's how it works, guys. This is a different way to calculate a date table. Now let's say that we want to use as a boundary today's date. So this is how it works. So basically here, we're going to delete this part of the claim date. And in this case, we're going to use today. This is the function that we're going to use. And then right here, let's close parentheses. So right there, and let's see what happens. And we have the first date that belongs to the claims table, claim date column, right? That's the same. And then we should see today's date for the maximum date. That's correct. And we have right here, February 8th, right? Perfect, it's working. And if you want to automate reports, this type of date table is very helpful. I think we are done with this part now. Let's go back to our presentation real quick. Now let's learn how to create a date table by using Calendar Auto. This is more straightforward. Let's do it. Let's create a new table. And we're going to call this table Dates 2. And in this case, we're going to use Calendar Auto. We can close this right here. This is how it works. By using Calendar Auto, so we select 2 dates, right? But we don't have to do it manually. So Calendar Auto automatically selects those 2 dates for us. So it goes through the model, through every single date column, and then picks the minimum and the maximum in the model. Let's see if it's working properly, okay? Let's approve this change. What's happening here is that every time that we perform this mention, Calendar Auto, so the results are basically related to calendar years. Remember that we have 2010, right? The minimum, remember that? If we go back to right here, yeah, 2010. So what's happening here is that we have from the beginning of the year, from January, right? And then we should expect the maximum date right here, 2020. Perfect. Remember that this function goes through every single date column in the model. Remember that we created our first date table and the maximum was today. So that's why we're seeing right here 2020. So there is a different way to calculate a date table by using Calendar Auto here. So we can add right here the final month number of a fiscal year. Let's say that the final month of a fiscal year is June. We can put right here, June. And then after we approve this right here, let's see what happens. It's loading. The first date that we see right here, of course, is July 2009. That's when the fiscal year starts, right? From July 2009 to June 2010. And then let's see what's happening here for the last boundary. And right here we see June 2020. It's very straightforward, right? All right, let's go to our presentation real quick. As a summary, remember that these 2 functions, Calendar and Calendar Auto, generate a contiguous series of dates in a single column table. Also remember that for Calendar Auto, it's slightly easier to use than Calendar because automatically finds the boundaries of the set of dates. So now let's go to our next slide. Let's expand the date table. Remember that we created 2 date tables, but they only have 1 column. So now we need to enrich our date tables with more columns, right? So we can have year, we can have month, we can have month number, weekday, weekday number, calendar month, month, year, etc. So let's do it right now. Remember that we created 2 date tables, right? So we create dates and we also create dates too. So these are 2 date tables. So let's go to the dates table. And right here, this is what we have, right? Before we do that, remember that we can add new columns, right? We can do it one by one, but it takes time, it's time consuming, and we want to save time. So that's why we want to create new columns in a single step. Let's do it. We want to make some changes right here. Dates, I'll enter, and then right here, we're going to use here variable. Here we're going to use a base table, and then equal to calendar. And right here, we're going to use this same code right here. First date from claims date. And right here, these are the boundaries, right? And then let's close this parenthesis. And right here, we're going to use return, okay? And then I'll enter. And we're going to add columns right here, right? Add columns, I'll enter. And right here, let's add columns to this base table, select base table, comma, and these are the columns that we'll be adding. I'll enter, we go to the next line, and right here, we're gonna add year, month, month number, etc. Let's do it. So we're gonna add right here, year, and then, of course, the function right here is year, and right here, we're gonna select the column, and in this case, it's date, right? Because we are using our dates table, but remember that this dates table has a column called date. So that's why we are using date here, right? Comma, I'll enter, same right here. And in this case, we're gonna add month, close apostrophe. And we're gonna apply here the format DAX function. This function converts date into text, okay? So let's use date right here. And in this case, we want to have month, right? And this is for month, close parenthesis, comma, I'll enter. And right here, let's create a new column called month number, okay? Comma, and in this case, we're going to use the month function. Same thing right here, date, close parenthesis, comma, I'll enter. And right here, open apostrophe. And the new column is going to be weekday. Weekday, close apostrophe, comma, and then the function. I'm going to use format again, date, column right there. And then in this case, DDDD for day. Close parenthesis, comma, I'll enter. And right here, we're going to add a new column. And in this case, we're going to call this weekday number, okay? Comma again, and we're going to use the weekday function. Open parenthesis, and in this case, the same thing, date, and then close parenthesis, comma again, I'll enter, open apostrophe, calendar month, and right here, we're going to use the format function again, date right here, and then we're going to open apostrophe, month, 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 and then space, year, 2 times right there, and then close parenthesis, comma, I'll enter, and again, right here, open apostrophe right here. So we're going to add this column, month, year, close apostrophe, format, again, and in this case, date, comma, open apostrophe right here, YYYY, and then MMM, close parenthesis, and then right here, comma, I'll enter. So what we're doing here is basically adding new columns to our date table. So our new column is going to be end of month, and then comma, and we're going to use the end of month function, and then the same thing right here, date, and then 0 right here, comma, I'll enter, and right here, open apostrophe again, and then we're going to call this column report date, okay, comma, format, and then right here, date, and then right here, this is what we're going to do, open apostrophe, YYYY, slash month, slash day, and then close apostrophe, close parenthesis. And then right here, we want to have another, I'll enter, and then close parenthesis. And then I think we are good now. And let's approve this change and let's see what happens. Boom! It's working, guys. Check this out. Date, year, month, month number, weekday, weekday number, calendar month, month year, end month, report date. There you guys have it. Now let's add new columns to our date to table. So this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make some changes here as well. So let's do this real quick. I'll enter, and right here we're gonna add a variable as well. And then we're gonna add minimum year equal, and in this case we're gonna use year, open parenthesis. Let's move this to the next line. I'll enter, and then let's keep editing this part. Year minimum, and then we're gonna use our claims date right here, right? And then close parenthesis, and then right here I'll enter, and we're gonna copy this one right here, basically. Control C, Control V, and in this case we're gonna change for max. The max function, it looks good. Now let's hit I'll enter, and in this case we're gonna use return, and then I'll enter. We're gonna filter that, open parenthesis, I'll enter, and then right here we're gonna use calendar auto, which is already there. Calendar auto, but without this month right here, and then comma, I'll enter, year right here, and in this case we're gonna use what we have done so far, and in this case should be date, right? And then right here close parenthesis, this should be greater or equal to minimum year, the variable that we created at the beginning, right? It's right there. And then, and also the other boundary, right? I'll enter, and if we want to copy this one right here as well. Control V, and in this case should be less than or equal to, of course, it should be max, right? Let's modify this one right here to make sure that it works properly. It should be, oh, remember here, this should be max, okay? And right here, it should be called max. Max year, which is one right here. That looks better. So after that, I'll enter, let's close parenthesis, and that's the filter. And now we can add the new columns. Don't worry, guys, I'm gonna share with you guys this code, and that way you guys can have it. But now, so what we're gonna do is something very important. Let's go back to dates, and then let's copy this, because that's gonna be the same. Control C, and now let's go back to dates right here. And now let's copy this, okay? And let's make some changes real quick. There is something here very important that we forgot. So right here, we need to add columns, right? I'll enter, and then let's add columns right here. Add columns, open parenthesis, and now I'll enter right here, and we can close parenthesis. See? Now it should work fine. After we do that, let's approve this change. Boom. It's working, guys. Perfect. Let's hide this part right here. There you guys have it. So we have date, year, month, month number, weekday, weekday number, calendar month, month year, end of month, report date. There you guys have it. So remember that the difference is that we are using here calendar auto. As I mentioned at the beginning, let's mark this table as a date table. So we're gonna select this table, dates. That's our first table, right? So we're gonna select that table, and then modeling, and then let's mark as date table. So now we're going to select the date column that has unique values, right? So right here, this is date, and then this is validated successfully. So why are we doing this? As it says right here, when you mark this as a date table, the built-in date tables that were associated with this table are removed, okay? All right, so, and then we hit OK. There you guys have it. Now let's go to our next point. Our next point is how to create a relationship. Let's create a relationship between the date table and claims table. It's very straightforward. Let's do it. All right, so we go to model. Here we have our claims table, dates table, and dates to table. So the difference between these two tables is that we are using a different function to calculate a date table. We're gonna create a relationship between claim and dates. So let's do it. So, but before we do that, let's check what is common between these two tables. Of course, claim date is gonna be the common column, right? Let's see what's happening here. For claim, so this is the format that we have. Remember that if we want to create relationships between tables, the common columns should have the same format. So let's make sure that we have the same date time format. So this is what we want to do to fix that. So let's select this column right here and then go to data type, and right here let's select date time. After we do that, let's go to format, and right here let's select the format that we have. And this is the format that we have in our date table. We want to have that as well here. After we do that, let's go to relationships again. So now let's make sure that we select date right here, and also right here date claim. Boom. So here we have our first relationship. Let's double click right here, make sure that it's working properly. Claims date and also date. Perfect. That's the same format. It's working. And the relationship is one to many. One for dates, many for claims. And then also right here for cross filter direction, it should be single. And we hit OK. And there you guys have it. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss anything, right? Thank you guys. See you in my next tutorial.